Marvel shared updates for X-Men, Avengers Doomsday, and Visionquest at D23 last weekend. Let's discuss. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, then welcome on in. My name is Jay. As you probably know, Marvel had their panel at D23 last weekend and I was away, so unfortunately I wasn't able to react to any of the trailers and news that was out, although maybe not fortunately because I had a very nice time away on a city break. But yes, Marvel had their big announcements with everything that's coming out over the next little while, and I still wanted to make a video giving my take on it and kind of break down all of my thoughts to all of the stuff that got revealed. Also, and don't worry, I'm still in the same place. I've just rejigged the set around a little bit, so you'll see it looks a little bit different. It's just easier for me, hopefully, to actually have the camera set up in front of me. It was very cramped last time, so hopefully this works a lot better. But you don't want to hear about any of that. You want to hear my thoughts, hopefully, on everything that Marvel talks about. So let's get into it. The first piece of news, of course, is to do with the X-Men. We had the big cast announcement, which I will get to in just a second, but Kevin Feige came out and he confirmed, although I think we already knew really, that the director of this untitled X-Men film is going to be Jake Schreier. Now, I am very, very happy to have that confirmed again, even though I think we already knew, because Thunderbolts was an amazing film. I gave it I gave it 4.5 stars when it came out, but when I rewatched it, it immediately went up to 5 stars. It was kind of that first MCU film that came out in that era where they were prioritizing quality over quantity, and it showed because Thunderbolts was not just one of my favorite films of the year, but one of my favorite Marvel films altogether. So I'm more than happy to have the director of that film get behind this start of this new um, phase, which I'm assuming is going to be the mutant saga, but we'll see what happens, or maybe they'll ditch the sagas entirely. Whatever is the case, I'm glad that Jake Schreier is here. He came out on stage, of course, with Sadie Sink, and it was revealed, I guess, spoiler alert if you've not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day yet, but I assume most of you have. And that is because, she came out and it was confirmed that she was Jean Grey, but she said, look, can we meet some more of the cast? And then we got all of the walkouts. Now I'm going to go through the cast one by one. I'm just going to give my brief thoughts on them, and there are not many. I don't have many thoughts on them, to be honest, but there is an overall point I want to make to kind of address some of the unwelcome and unnecessary criticism, we'll say, regarding some of the announcements. First up, we have got Kit Connor as Scott Summer, and he is going to be our Cyclops of the MCU. Now, I've not seen Kit Connor in media before. I know some of the projects that he's been in. I think maybe most famously, he starred alongside Joe Locke in Heartstopper. Of course, Joe Locke, now our Wiccan, after appearing in Agatha. So yeah, I've not really seen anything he's been in. Does he give immediate Scott Summers energy to me? Not immediately, I'll admit that, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go into this a little bit more with some of the other casting choices. You can probably guess who. But these people have been cast for a reason. It's because they have auditioned, most likely, and have really impressed the casting directors. So I have no issues, I have no worries that Kit Connor can deliver. I'm ready to sit down and see what version of Cyclops that he's going to give. We obviously know already that Sadie Sink is going to play Jean Grey, his love interest. So I'm excited to see the kind of chemistry that they have between each other. Number two, we have got Christopher Abbott as Professor Charles Xavier, Professor X. Again, not an actor I'm too familiar with. I did see him a couple of years ago in Poor Things. Again, it's been a couple of years, so I don't remember his performance or role that well. Still, with all the others here, I've got no complaints. I'm ready to have him sell me on his version of Charles Xavier. You might be playing the same character as Patrick Stewart, or Sir Patrick Stewart, I should say, and Michael Fassbender, but each actor is going to approach the character differently, and I'm excited to see what this actor brings to that role. I will say a very young Professor X to tell in a present day story. Of course, Michael Fassbender played a young Charles Xavier, but in oh, I'm completely wrong. Not Michael Fassbender. I'm so sorry. You're probably screaming at me right now. James McAvoy. Michael Fassbender played Magneto. There's a reason Michael Fassbender is on my mind, as well as Magneto. I'll get to that a little bit later in this casting announcement. Sorry about that. No. But still, that's obviously because Marvel wants to keep these actors locked in, hopefully for the next 10 years or so, and I really hope that they do. I think if you think back to the Infinity Saga, we had all these actors and our characters that we got introduced to, and we followed them along until a lot of them having their culmination in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Problem with the Multiverse Saga, some would say, is that we got introduced to some new characters and continued some old ones, but we kind of just left them in standalone projects. We didn't develop their stories. It was kind of done a project, okay, let's move on to the next one that's got nothing to do with anything that came before. So hopefully the X-Men are locked in for the next while, at least. The Mutant Saga does need to fix that problem, but I think they've already done a good job of that by introducing Jean Grey in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So slowly introducing all of these characters. Number 3, we have got Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, and I am familiar with some of Samara Weaving's work. In contrast to the other two, I immediately look at her and go, yeah, I can see Emma Frost there. I like that she's obviously going to be more at the forefront of this X-Men film, or this interpretation of the X-Men, because in the previous Fox versions, there was actually two Emma Frosts, one in First Class and one in, I want to say, Origins of Wolverine. It might be the Wolverine, now that I think about it. I think it's the Wolverine. Regardless, both versions were kind of one and done, and hopefully Samara Weaving gets a lot more to do as we go through the different films that she's going to appear in. Hopefully, I don't want a one and done again, because that would just be a disservice to her character. And Samara Weaving even posted a photo of her reading the comics, which a lot of Marvel actors do when they get cast in these roles. I'm excited to see her in the role and see what she brings to the character. Number 4, Maya Boyd as Storm, and this will be Maya Boyd's film debut. She has only ever been in stage plays, theatre productions, and from what I can tell, only a few at that. That means that she must have given a hell of an audition to impress Kevin Feige and everyone else that is in charge of hiring. We have the unknowns in Maya Boyd. We've got the big names, which I'll get to in a little bit. You've got the crowd pleasers. We'll get to them in a little bit as well. I like how Marvel, with this, the casting of the X-Men film, seems to be pulling from all different directions. It's really nice to see, and I hope that we get to see these actors grow as they move on through the different films and see their characters develop alongside with them. But yes, Maya Boyd, she is going to be our Storm, and given that she's got a proven track record on stage, I'm excited to see how that translates onto screen. I think we're going to become big fans of her. Number 5, Indy Navarrete as Rogue. What? That seems to be the reaction that a lot of people are having online at the moment. So many people on the internet, in my opinion, are just giving her unnecessary hate. I've never seen the internet turn on someone as quickly as they have with Indy Navarrete. They just praised her on all the work she did on Obsession. We had that most clipped moment of the year, I'm sure, with her no, 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 the scene that I'm talking about from Obsession. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, worst casting ever. You're not Rogue. How do you know that? Are you hoping for a fan cast here? Like, have you seen her in this role? Actors can play different types of characters. Yes, she may not have a southern accent, but did you know that there's these things called dialect coaches? We can actually, hear her say sugar, which I'm sure you all know is Rose's catchphrase, most notably from, or most recently seen in X-Men 97. The voice actress that plays Rogue in that, by the way, just gave Indy Navarrete her blessing. That was really nice to see. Indy Navarrete is going to be fine. If she's not, we'll judge it when the film comes out, but stop jumping to conclusions and assuming that, it's the worst casting ever, because it's not the case. Indy Navarrete is a proven actress. We've just seen that with Obsession, and if she didn't fit the role, she wouldn't be given this role. She'd be given another one. She just recently said, "Oh, Mystique seems pretty cool," and whilst I'm sure that that was just a deliberate ploy from Indy Navarrete, just to try and throw people off the scent, if they thought she was more suited to Mystique, she would have gotten Mystique. So you know, I'm excited to see what Indy Navarrete does. I love their Obsession. I'm excited to see her take on a different kind of character. The final casting announcement that we got for X-Men is, of course, Adam Driver. He's going to be playing Nathaniel Milbury, also known in the comic books as Mr. Sinister. Although not there in person, Adam Driver, he sent in a video message saying that he revealed the character he's going to be playing, and he's excited to finally be joining the MCU. And it's a nice change because we all know from recent reviews that Kevin Feige constantly calls Adam Driver up, and Adam Driver goes, that doesn't seem quite right, and that's been going on for years, where he puts down the phone and waits for the next role. So nice that we have finally nailed down Adam Driver for a role in the MCU. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about Adam Driver. He's proven that he can play a villain very well. I think a lot of people are happy he's not playing Magneto because that would just be so obvious. So we'll see what he does with the role. I'm very curious, is he going to be in multiple movies? Because it's Mr. Sinister. Like you can keep him for a little while if you want to. Um, that's a long way off. We have a lot of movies and TV shows before we get to this X-Men film, but there is our roundup. Final thing I will say on the X-Men film, we did get the date confirmed. It's going to be the 5th of May 2028, and that means after Secret Wars in 2027, December that is, X-Men will, most appropriately, it's going to kick off this new saga. That's then going to be followed by Ghost Rider in summer 2028. Probably the 28th of July 2028 is the date that I think Disney has marked in the schedule. And then Black Panther 3 on the 15th of December 2028. So a 3-year movie for Marvel after just having one the year before. The second piece of news we got revolves around Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday is coming. It's going to be released, as we all know, on December 18th. And this trailer that we got was the one that got shown at Comic-Con a few weeks ago that finally got released. Well, I think it was shown to the audience at D23, but then it got released online as well. This trailer has a lot more focus on Doom rather than just giving us a trailer showing us all the different characters that are going to be appearing in the movie. We finally get a bit more focus on the character that Robert Downey Jr. is actually going to be playing rather than just his voice. We hear Sue Storm giving a voiceover to the trailer, revealing that the Fantastic Four did know him, which makes a lot of sense because, as we all know, there was the empty Latveria chair in Fantastic Four First Steps. Sue reveals that he was the smartest person in any room, even more than her husband, Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards, apparently, by that logic. And before, I'm assuming he lost his wife and child, we see Doom looking up at this sort of tapestry that has a woman and a child on it, so one can only assume that that was his family. And we then have Reed screaming at Doctor Doom, saying, did you do this? Tell me, did you do this? So they've got history there. Again, stuff we knew, but nice to see that teased a little bit more in the trailer. Coming out on stage at D23 to sort of, I guess, market or take responsibility for, what's the word I'm looking for? Promote. There's what I'm looking for. To promote Avengers Doomsday. We, of course, had Robert Downey Jr. He seems to be here every time, which makes a lot of sense. He's Doom. But we also got Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, and Peggy Carter, played by Hayley Atwell. They were there as well. Interesting choice to have them three. I suppose they're all MCU veterans. I'm certainly not opposed to it. I just hope we're not shooing off all the newer characters that we got introduced to in favour of the older ones, but I suppose if you want to bring in the older audiences that you've lost along the way, Marvel, that is the way that you need to do it. The trailer also showed some repeated scenes from the first trailer, and then some got expanded upon as well. So we saw Johnny holding Franklin. We didn't know it was Franklin before. It could have been Sue. But nice to know that Franklin at least gets rescued, or at least temporarily. We also see Thor battle Doom, which we've seen before. But then we see Thor, or Doom, cast aside Stormbreaker, and then Doom announces that hell belongs, or hell answers to him. So Mephisto confirmed? No. Hope he comes back though, because he was the best part of Ironheart. But yeah, that's everything we got on Doomsday. Nothing too new, too surprising, because we all knew that that trailer was coming. There's been descriptions sort of from the people who saw it originally. But there you go, the trailer is out. Final piece of news, of course, has to do with Visionquest. We finally get some Visionquest updates. I was surprised that it wasn't reported on at Comic-Con, but I think they were saving all their TV stuff for D23. So at least we finally have it. It's going to debut on October 14th, though I'm not sure if we're going to get a weekly drop of episodes, if they'll come in batches, if they come all at once. I hope that they do a weekly, or at least two at the start, and then just week by week, because this show from the trailer that we got, which I'll get onto, but it looks so good, and I want to keep that conversation around the show going on as long as possible. And we'll see what strategy they hope to do. Usually if they're pretty confident in stuff, and it looks like they are with Visionquest, they will stretch it out. It's the stuff that they're less confident on, and very noticeably so, that they dump in batches. We got a poster for the series, and then Paul Bettany, of course our Vision, came out on stage alongside James Spader, who of course is returning as Ultron after we haven't seen him since 2014, I think is when Age of Ultron came out. And Vision killed his Ultron's corporal body, but Paul Bettany has now revealed that when that happened, he just downloaded and uploaded Ultron into his mind, which I think makes sense given what happened. And this series is going to show us where White Vision went after he departed at the end of WandaVision. It's Scotland, by the way, here. Very exciting. you know, the place where they went, where he went with Scarlet Witch in Infinity War. Makes a lot of sense he's went back there. But also, and I think most of the show is going to be taking place here, it's going to go into Vision's mindscape. So there's a house in his mind, and got lots of different AIs that are living there, which I'll talk about the variety of different people that we have. One of which, of course, is Ultron. So yeah, the AIs that we get, we've got Friday, played by Orla Brady, who was created to replace Jarvis. We've seen or heard her voice many times before. Edith, we've got Emily Hampshire playing her. Of course, that AI was originally given to Peter Parker after Tony Stark passed away, and then Mysterio got a hold of it. It was a whole thing. Go watch Spider-Man if you've not seen that. But yes, we have Henry Lewis and Jonathan Sire as Dume and U, respectively. Two robots who were created by Tony to help him in his lab. I am super stoked to see these two. I love their performances on stage in the Goes Wrong show, and Henry Lewis specifically. I've seen him in the comedy about spies and A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong. If anybody here in the UK has seen any of those shows, he's always the funniest person on stage. So I'm really excited to see him on screen and see what it's capable of there. What might make me even more happy though is that we finally get James Darcy as Jarvis back, who of course is the first AI that Tony Stark created before he was replaced by Vision, but veteran fans are going to remember Jarvis from Agent Carter. Very underrated show, one of the, I think, was it Marvel Television's first, or did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. come first? I don't remember. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. might have come first, but regardless, Jarvis was in that. He was excellent, and you probably have spotted him in Endgame as well, because he makes a little cameo appearance, and I think he was the first film Marvel TV character to then go on to appear in a film. So yeah, it's been a long time without Jarvis. I think he appeared in the third season of What If, but that was just his voice. So nice to finally see Jarvis back. Hopefully, given a great performance. Calling it Paul Bettany, he's brilliant. So I will take his word for it. Of course, Tommy Shepard makes a reappearance from WandaVision, now a lot older, played by Ruri Malika. And this series will cap off that WandaVision trilogy, which of course includes WandaVision and Agatha all along. So if you've not seen WandaVision or Agatha all along, go and watch it. Go watch it, I should say. And if you've already seen it, rewatch it because that's exactly what I'm doing. I love it. That's kind of all we got on Visionquest. One other small piece of news is that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, an animated show, is coming out a little later than expected in January of 2027, next year. Meaning that all we have left before Doomsday now is Visionquest and, of course, Avengers Endgame coming back to cinemas. But new releases, it's just going to be um, Visionquest. So yeah, not long to go until Doomsday is upon us. That means for next year, in case you're wondering, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 is in January. Then we've got unconfirmed dates for Daredevil Born Again Season 3, which wasn't touched upon at this panel, but I suppose they were talking about a lot, and maybe there'll be another event where they can talk about that. And then X-Men 97 Season 3, of course, Season 2 just finished, so Season 3 I know will be sometime next year, before Secret Wars in 17th of December 2027. That is all I've got to say. That is all the news and my thoughts on everything that got revealed at Marvel D23. Before you go, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell as well, that way you're notified when I post a new video. Leave a like and then share your thoughts down below. Is anything that surprised you at D23? So is there anything you're really excited about? Anything you're not too excited to see? Let me know and I will see you in the next video. Bye.